to call down versus Dan. But
Oh, I see.
L Dan.
Both very aggressive players.
Monosyllabic Asian players. You can kind of just generalize all of them and
30.
hang on for dear life when you flop a pair.
Sai is going to raise up a cutoff here with Jack 9 off. I did, yeah. 3-betting the button with Ace King. And Dan has queens. Can't imagine he's doing anything other than
Why not?
fold 4-betting here. He actually cold calls.
Why not?
Interesting. David comes along too.
No, you started the party.
Seemed like Saya thought about making a move, but maybe thought better of it with 3 players in the pot.
Now that you're getting crazy odds.
Dan is still best. Flop is 9-6-4. David flops a gutter and gets there on the turn.
Wow. Thinking David might double up in back-to-back hands here. Guessing Dan might just put it in
About
here.
19 left, roughly. A little more than 19.
That'd be music to David's ears.
Seems like the alternative would be calling here and then likely finding another call.
He does jam it.
1 pair.
I have 2 undercards.
It's straight. I'm going to.
Heater.
That's what happened.
Wow,
when
David
you
got
play loose.
David got stuck 40K really quickly, but looks like he's winning again on the session now.
I was right to be scared. Numbers.
See, I told you I like the
I
juice.
think he's in for 60, Lynn.
You guys know that shit.
26.
Yeah, he's certainly ran it up
This game's got no
just as
action at
fast.
all. Nothing. So tight.
A small loss?
I think that was my biggest loss ever. I did have a hand though that I was pretty proud of. I think I cold 4-bet jammed 7 deuce with stand up and the 7 deuce game on.
Was that when Saya accused you of hole carding her?
No, that was a different hand.
To be clear, she did not actually accuse Noah of hole carding her, but she did think that there was a slight chance that he might have seen something. Gosh, there's been some wild games.
Top set, or top boat rather, for David.
Dan with an overpair and Sai with king high. She's unlikely to be in the pot for much longer, but I could definitely see David getting a full double here. Is that?
He's just gonna call.
Okay. Good call by David. It'd be rude to root for a 9, huh? Okay, a jack. Wonder if that slows Dan down a little bit. Although, you know, David only has 1 pot-sized bet behind.
I would be surprised to see Dan bet again, which means he's surely checking, I guess. But, I mean, David shouldn't call with too many hands with a jack in them versus half pot.
I would not mind seeing David check this back. Give Dan an opportunity to value bet or bluff on the river.
He does check it back.
Probably not the card you're looking for, especially not when your opponent has exactly 9s. I think any card between a deuce and an 8 would have maybe been a little bit better for David. Not that we're picking sides. Dan is going to go for a value bet now, and I would expect David to jam after not too much deliberation. Yep, there's the all-in. And, I mean, it's not too much more to call.
Yeah, it's tough. Dan's getting a really good price.
But if you don't think your opponent is ever bluffing,
Looks like 20
hard to do anything but fold.
total.
David, however, is certainly capable.
15, 20.
Another GG moment brought to you by GG Poker.
25, 3, I'm sorry.
It's a great time.
We're still counting right now. Just a second. Here's the 2,000. 5, 5, 15, 15, 17,000. 17, 17.
25,300. 25,300
25,300.
total.
For only 12,800 more to call.
You got it.
To win a pot of what, 60? Yeah, 74.
Really hard to call this either way. Neither decision can be that bad. It really just depends on what Dan thinks David is up to in the moment. I mean, if he calls, David certainly earned the action. But also, what hands can he really be bluffing with? What hands are calling the flop, checking turn, and now jamming over a bet on the river?
Yeah, it's hard for David to think that he has all that much fold equity here when it's only,
25
you know,
25, 3.
16% pot more.
Okay, he called.
He does call.
And David gets a full double. Flops full house and gets every last bit of volume.
Me too.
I was
5,000.
representing the deuce.
5,000.
I was representing the deuce for sure.
Loving the check back by David on the turn.
I thought the deuce was gonna cost me.
Noah, let's hear your...
My sensei. He knows what he's doing.
I had a pair of fives.
Good.
I was gonna bluff, but
Dan opening up the action with King 7.
That might raise.
David going to come along,
Shoot.
does not decide to re-raise, but Double A looks at Ace King for the 4th time of the evening. Bumps it up to 6,000. Dan folds. David's coming along for the ride.
David folds, just kidding.
I lied.
Wayne, I'm very gullible, and you know that.
No, I don't.
David has found the back raise to 21,000. Double A goes all in. I expect David to
Just
quickly call.
Not much of a choice.
And David runs it one time only.
Are they allowed to run it twice?
They are not allowed, but, you know, I've played with David quite a bit off stream.
Oh, I got clocked.
And he puts that win finger up.
655.
Oh.
David still best.
Again.
6 on the turn changes nothing.
I know.
River is an 8. Another $100,000 pot. This one going David's way. It's been a tough day for Double A.
40,
Poker be like that.
40.
Very sad. Tough times.
You know,
That's unlucky,
7,
Alex.
48,
Finally got a hand.
Yeah.
49,
I've had hands the whole time.
50,400.
You cover him.
50,400.
And probably would have gotten it all in, regardless of whether or not David flatted the initial open. But I do. We've had quite a few situations where we show up for a quarter 50 and before we know it, we're playing at least 100, 200.
Yeah. Double A gonna 3-bet the suited connector here on the button against David's cutoff open. I don't imagine he'll be
48.
folding the queen nine suited.
48, C3, C4,
He
C6,
calls pretty quickly.
Give him 200 back. And then
4800.
go ahead and just go to the block.
48. C1 call. All right, heads up.
Middle pair and a flush draw for double A.
Back to C1.
David's got the inside straight draw.
35. 3500. Call for 3500.
Small C bet for double A, and David decides to call. Oh, wow. Big action card here. David's going to make the straight.
Back C3.
Double A checks back. Oh, wow. Straight over straight now.
C1 bet 15,000.
Not every day you see that. Going to be tough to get away from this. We'll see what double A comes up with.
Yeah, it's probably going to flick it in.
I had it on the turn.
Yeah, bad river.
Another pot going David's way.
To play a Broadway card.
Him and Aditya are
Nine?
our big winners so far, I think.
9 is in there. It's not broad.
Double A is